Hello. Welcome to the downside. Russell, how are you doing?
I'm good. I feel like I was on the longest
What
subway.
are you talking about? We've done this so many times.
Gianmarco, wait, just let me do it one more time. I'm gonna do it one more time. I'm so sorry. Listen,
Russell.
I'm not even doing a bit.
Russell.
I'm not even doing a bit. Listen, let me just do it one more time, okay?
Russell.
I'm not.
Welcome to the downside. Russell, how are you doing?
I'm good, Gianmarco. How are you?
I am so disappointed in you.
1, 2, 3. You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.
Hi, welcome to the downside.
I'm gonna make a note in my phone for the downside because I have a downside note thing where I keep notes.
Oh, you do? Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, like things I will want you to cut out.
Sure.
Or like
You've yet to ask me to cut out
No,
anything.
no.
There was one joke I told that you were not a fan of that we had to cut out. That I'll reveal
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
a year from now when
No,
you're
no,
okay
you
with it.
won't. But listen.
No, I'm very excited. Tell me how the train was tough today too.
Okay.
They're really.
There's not a lot going on, and I take
every-
one subway ride a week, and it is here, and it was nice last week, and it sucked today. Okay, so
Every time you're like, it's so weird. The trains are bad on the weekends.
No, they were great last week. I'm saying it took me 104 minutes to get here today. That's a long time. Because sometimes it takes 50. You know?
Yeah. So you just leave. Come here early. We'll chat. We'll yuck it up. I'll make
can
you
imagine
some
if
coffee.
I showed up at like 10:30? You wouldn't be ready for me if I showed up an hour early. Like if everything went right, I would have been over an hour early. Do you like that? Would not be fun for you?
Okay. Look.
What would we talk about? We're saving everything to talk about.
I know
here.
it's very hard every time we talk. That's
So-
the problem with our friendship now. Every time we have a good conversation, I'm like, no. Let's not explore this right now.
Okay.
We're just all of life. It's just like everything I do. It's becoming a reality TV show. Like that's what so much of this is. Every time I have a good
With no
interaction, I'm
money.
like, with no money involved, just closer and closer to being your own Truman Show director. With things are reopening. I'm doing a lot. I have 7 shows today.
Wow.
2 Zoom shows, so I'm gonna say it's 6. We're gonna make those half each. But I'm definitely rusty. Like moving around this much. I did a show last night at LOL. And I know my crowd work is very rusty because I was talking to, there was 2 people at a table in the front. I said, "Oh, are you 2 dating?" And she was like, "That's my son." And then I repeated the question. I said, "Yeah, oh, but are you dating?" And you could see the room,
Yeah.
you could hear, and I was the first comic, so like you could feel the whole energy change of like, oh, what is this show? Like, you know, they expected some dick and pussy jokes, and instead they got dick and pussy jokes, but with a little bit of incest sprinkled on top. And I just kept like I said this. They were like, what? And I said,
did you do it as like a joke, like being like, or were you just like not
It's
listening
just
and just like
just
a robot?
not
You were
listening.
just like,
just not
but, you
listening.
dating?
I could feel the room change, and I was like, yeah, you know, it's 2020. Which number one, it's not 2020.
there's not.
B, it's
In the year 2020, it was not acceptable to sleep with your mom.
Someday, fingers crossed. I think. Listen, this is a hot take. If it's consensual and everyone's of age, and you're not having kids, who am I to say anything?
You know what?
Oh my god.
What's your take, Russell?
I don't know. I you know what? It is funny that when you said like they're adults, it's consensual, blah blah blah. In my head, I'd be like, I don't want to shame these people
There you
if
go.
they want to do it. Like I do feel like I'm frowning on it though. I don't.
You're frowning?
I'm not loving it for you, but I'm not gonna go and be like, you can't. Does that make sense?
You can't. I agree. If you told me that you were having consensual sex with your mother, I would go. Wow.
Oh no, I would not be friends. Like you can be selective with your friends. You can be like, I don't need the friend that is sleeping with their mom. Does that make sense?
Sure. But I think our friendship could take it. I think we have a deep enough friendship.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to think of.
Okay, look, I was speaking of like, you know, we're going rough out the gate, and I think I'm gonna censor this just so I can talk about it. So I'm looking for guests for this podcast. You know, we're looking for cool, exciting guests, and there was this. I want to be careful how I like phrase it because it's not my duty to spread the word. I don't know. There's someone I went to school with.
Oh,
and
yes.
he worked past tense.
Yeah.
In a profession that saves lives, truly heroic.
Yeah.
And I'm going to censor it, but just so I can talk about it freely, he went by the and he went very viral because he danced. He danced, and when I knew him,
Yes.
he danced. And you know me, I dance in my own way. And we would sometimes dance together at school functions. It would be like, you know, me, him, and then one other kid. We would dance, and people found it fun.
Yeah, sounds fun.
And I'm like, ooh, a huge, big following.
Yeah.
We'd stayed in touch. It's been a while, though. So I go online, I go to reach out to him. Last we spoke on Twitter. He's not on Twitter. I'm like, what's going on? So I Google it, and, you know, it's like, you know, the wins MTV's Hero of the Year award. The featured on Good Morning America. What an amazing hero. And then a more recent article, a very recent article, hospital settles $500,000 sexual allegation suit against the and I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah. Oh, shit. And then I just go, and it was just wild because I've known this person for a very long time. I would not call us friends by any stretch of the imagination.
You mentioned him a lot. You know, you would mention the
well, you know, I'm not going to say his name because then you'll name one of your pets after him. Do you know that about Russell?
Why would she know that?
I didn't
know
that.
Russell has a pet named Louie. A cat named Louie. And it was recent. It was a couple weeks ago.
I've had the cat for almost a decade.
Yeah. Okay, so
oh my God.
But it was just a strange thing.
Not like Cosby.
That would be very funny if it was Cosby. But it was just surreal because it's kind of like a death in a way where it's like, oh, I'm never, and again, I'm only talking about my experience because I'm being vague, so I'm not gonna, you know. But for me, I'm like, oh, this is someone I'm never gonna see again.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be our guest next week, and we're very excited for the followers. I think it's gonna be. But wait, do you have anything else you want to say? The train.
No, there's nothing.
Was tough.
No, it was long and boring. That's it.
Yeah, it was clearly long. You barely made it today.
Yeah.
Well, we're very excited.
Yes.
For our guest. Let me talk about some of the credits. She was on Bill Nye Saves the World.
Yeah.
But that show was canceled, so I don't.
It canceled really hard. We didn't save anything. And
you didn't save anything. I think I saw Bill Nye yesterday in a fucking like Volvo commercial.
Yeah.
Some kind of car where he was like, "This car is scientifically proven to be #1," and I was like, "Bill, no, Bill! Oh God,
pay for his suits,
his bow tie's got to cost a lot of money."
Yeah.
Bill Nye Saves the World. Flama, I love Flama, which was a fantastic video site, like, you know, like a Funny or Die.
Yeah.
And she was also the video in a show I did at UCB called Branded Content. Please, Joanna Hausmann, welcome to the Downside.
So much. Thank you so much. You know, I was like really excited. This is the first time it's not really a performance, but I am in the same room with other comedians in like over a year, and it started off with incest, and I was like, "This is great. I made the right decision today. I'm back. We are back. It's amazing. I'm feeling great." The last story you told with the like that moment of like you know someone, you think you know them, and then something happens and everything changes.
Yeah.
I have a crazy story.
Please.
You guys, are you freaking? This is like hot out the gate. I'm so nervous. Okay. I don't have any practice. It's been a year.
Why
since
are you nervous? It's like, so I know this guy named Russell Daniels.
No, I'm just. It's
I know.
Exciting.
Oh my God. Okay, this is the tea. Like a few years ago, I get on Facebook, okay, and I see that my friends post that our history teacher from high school passed away, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so sad. Our history teacher, he was he would take us on a bunch of trips. His wife was the principal of the whole school. The graduation lunch was held in his apartment. I mean, this is like, you know, a person that was really, really involved in our childhood, and he had passed away, and it was really sad. But then a week later, there's another article that everyone's posting. It's like 27 of your friends have posted this article.
Oh, no.
And it says, most prolific child molester in history has killed himself in Minnesota.
No.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So, you know, that person's no longer in my life, both literally and figuratively. And yeah, isn't that insane?
Wow.
And killed himself.
Yeah, he killed himself. So apparently he tried to kill himself in Nicaragua. Yo, this is crazy. So his maid stole his laptop. And then she was like looking through the laptop and found a bunch of pictures. And she was like, you know, I stole a laptop. I know that's wrong. But like also there's a bunch of pictures of children on this laptop. So like, I'm going to go to the police. And so she went to the police and they're like, yeah, this is child pornography. It's fine. You stole it. Just go away. And then they confronted him about it. And he was like, yeah, man, I've been molesting children for like 30 years. I put like tranquilizers in double stuffed Oreos while we're
God.
And I remember those
double stuffed so you can fit like a bigger tranquilizer.
There we go. It was, you know, yeah. Can you believe it?
Fucking A.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. And I remember that when we went to Costa Rica, I like had a protest. Like I protested with the girls because the boys would get double stuffed Oreos and the girls would never get any snacks.
Oh my God.
And I was like, this is unfair. This is sexism. This is inequality of the sexes. No. And I was so proud of myself because then we like got the double stuffed Oreos, but then I'm like, oh God, no. Oh no.
My
God.
No.
So that reminded me of that story. I had forgotten until then. But
I think it's a good lesson that, you know, men really do have it tougher. You know, it seems
so
like
hard.
we're getting the brunt, but we're getting the double stuffed Oreos with the tranquilizers.
That's the metaphor.
That's wilder than the wow.
That is, oh my Jesus. And how did he kill himself?
He stabbed himself in the heart in a bathtub.
What the fuck?
My God.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Hear deaths, suicides like that, I'm like, how did you even come up? How did you go to that? Like, I mean, that's like really.
And like, it's just like, I went to school in Venezuela where like we have so many crazy stories of like bombs being thrown into our school and tire fires and protests. Like it was already crazy enough. And that chapter of my life had been closed. And now it's just like, we're going to throw another fucking crazy story at you. And if you Google most prolific child molester, my history teacher comes up. And truthfully, he kind of looks like he would be.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny we didn't
put it
together. But
oh my God.
I'm sorry. Did I bring the house down?
No.
It's very funny hearing the word prolific. Because usually like prolific composer. There's a Microscene who's a very funny comic who helped paint these walls.
Beautiful.
And he has something where they called like someone the worst child molester. He'd molested 100 kids. And he's like, well, actually, it sounds like they're the best. He's like, the worst child molester would be like their candy would be like raisins. And it's a fantastic bit. But
this is like that.
That is crazy. I mean, you know, you get older and people from your past, they either die or they're molesting kids.
Do die.
They all do die. I mean, but
that's
why I think this, like starting this podcast now, I definitely feel I'm 32 now, and I definitely feel like I just had an acting teacher who got an old acting teacher who got a diagnosis. They're gonna be dead in a year. But it's just like I'm like, it feels like, you know, the roller coaster has begun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start. People just dying all the time.
They dying all the time, dying all the time.
I think about when we're 50s or 60s. If we make it, you know, there's gonna be the day where it's like Steve Carell dies and Will Ferrell dies, and just every day, like all those times you see celebrities die, and a lot of them I'm like, well, I don't really know who that is. I don't know who this is. But then there'll be the day of like, every sitcom I ever watched, they're all dying day after day.
And then you're reminded
day.
that one day you will die.
Yeah.
Death. You know, I love this. I'm feeling so great.
We talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I saw Bill and I had an episode about age extension.
Yeah.
Is he on your phone?
He is. He's on my phone. He hasn't responded to the last 3 texts, and I'm kind of pissed about it.
Oh no! What'd you text him?
Let's see. Let's see what let's see what.
This is some hot gossip.
This is hot gossip.
Let's see.
Bill Nye. Well, let me just say, because I see Bill Nye. I mean, he was like last time I saw him on TV, other than this car commercial, he was like talking about COVID. And there's just such a weird thing where like Bill Nye used to be, you know, when he was on TV, it means we were about to have the best science class ever.
Yeah.
It means my teacher was probably hungover, and we were just gonna watch a funny video. And now he's on the news. He's talking about like, you know, this new variant's gonna kill all of the world. And it's like he's a childhood hero. It's like watching a Big Bird check Barney into hospice care. Like it's just like it's such a it's so hard to see him be like, you're gonna die.
It's crazy.
We're done with the fun part of science. Now here's the scary.
Well, can you imagine? He was like, I'm going to make a fun show about science so that people like science more. And now we're in an age where, there's some people who like science, and then there's some people who say that's not real.
Yeah.
So it's like he thought that we were going towards an age where more people were going to be like, science is cool. And now we're literally in an age where people are like, science is the devil.
Yeah.
So
that's
like
really interesting.
he's fighting a new war.
Yeah, well, now he's...
Like, science used to be boring.
Sure.
And now
like,
science
spice
is
it up.
evil
And
for people.
I think the bottom line is people don't want to learn. They don't want to learn the detail. They don't want to learn. Period. They don't want to learn. Like science is complicated. Like science. Like for example, it's like with getting the vaccine. I tell people to get the vaccine. I have a very vague understanding of I have a vague understanding of like why we all need to get it because variants have more bodies to evolve and blah blah blah. But that's about it. Like, my scientific understanding isn't that high. I just have a general respect for scientists, and I'm like, look, if 95% of the scientists think something, I'm just going to go with it. And that's ultimately where we need to get people. But I do understand the thing of, like, don't trust the government. I believe people who have a general, like, be skeptical of the powers that be. And the problem is that's become anti-science. I don't know.
But also their reasoning is never like, you'll be like, okay, you just trust the government, sure, but then you ask a couple follow-ups, and it's like crazy talk. Like it's like they're tracking us. And it's like, well, you have an iPhone. Like there's like things where you're like, it doesn't line up, doesn't connect.
I had dinner with actually in a week. Because I'm recently like fully vaxxed. It's like the 2 weeks after your second vaccine where you feel like Superman. Yeah. So I had 2 dinners, and the 2 dinners were it was a confrontation. Against the first one was a waiter who was like proudly, he just said, I'm anti-vax.
Oh,
and I was like,
how did the waiter bring this up?
I just assume. I just go into a room and scream, oh, by the way, I'm vaccinated. I just love it. So I was talking to him, and we were having the time of our lives. Like, we were having I love small talk. I love small talk with waiters. It's one of my favorite talks. And,
you know, just like the opposite being.
I love it. I'm just like, so where are you from? Oh my God. Like, I love your nails, like whatever. And I was like, I had forgotten to put my mask back up. And I was like, by the way, I'm fully vaxxed. And he goes, and I'm like, how about you? And he's like, I'm an anti-vaxxer. Proudly. And I was like, do you mind if I ask you why? And he just says, the government, period. And I was like, is there more? And he was like, they want to control us. And I'm like, okay, well, it seems like it seems like that's not enough for me to be convinced. But then when it's like turned towards me, right? So like that's.
Wait, what did you say? Because if there's anyone who should be able to do this, it's from Bill Nye Saves the World, Joanna Hausmann.
I was like, well, it seems to me that you're going to be way more controlled if you're unable to do things that the rest of us can do. And then I went in and I explained about like the research, that the research came from many different places, that it's and then he's like, well, the companies make a lot of money, and I'm like,
sure.
Yeah, companies make a lot of money all the time. I'm in a restaurant, you're making money, and your boss is making money. Is that bad? Like, what are you fucking talking about? And then he's like, well, explain to me how the vaccine came out so soon. And I was like, well, this vaccine has been in research since the avian flu. It's been like almost 10 years. This is a lot. And I'm like, why do I have to know all this information to fight against you while you're like, if this is a debate where one person can just say the government, and then we have the responsibility to be like, I guess I got to look up what RNA means. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's like, these are just completely uneven.
Yeah, you have to explain everything. There's not even like a quick, like 3 sentences you can say. You're like, I explain this full concept, and then this full concept, and then this full concept.
Because it's so easy for them to like. I even think like I heard my mom say once it happened, they made it really fast. And I'm like, gun to your head, how long do vaccines normally take? They have no idea. It's just what they heard. It happened fast. Yeah, why'd it happen fast? Because it was a fucking emergency. It was all hands on deck.
What if we could just start saying that they actually made polio in 6 hours? The vaccine for polio.
You could just lie.
Just lie.
People don't know shit. So okay, so you're breaking down everything. You have more tools than I think both of us have.
Oh my God! No, we're just like, we believe in the government.
I'm just like, just fucking. I go very quickly. Fucking get it.
You think so highly of me. I honestly, I read one article and quote 2 lines from it. That's pretty much all I do. And
I just read the headline. You've done amazing.
Thank you so much.
So where did it? So where did it end with this waiter?
So then I was just like, he was like, my body, my choice, and I was like, God fucking damn you!
Ooh,
How dare you? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, it kind of isn't your choice because your decisions affect literally everybody around you. But I didn't say that, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll have the tres leches. So that's how it ended. Was me ordering dessert and leaving. And I'm not going to go back there.
And in no tip, you just wrote, get the vaccine. That's my tip for you, buddy.
I gave a 20% tip. I
20% tip.
I can't.
I don't know.
Even if I have terrible, I can't do. I
can't do it.
It feels awful.
If it's truly the worst in the entire world, I'll do. I think I do 20% because it's easier also mathematically.
Yeah, it is.
I've never tried
I would never go below an
15.
18% tip.
It's just too
if
much.
something's terrible, if they
Maybe.
spilled coffee on me, if they gave me a vaccine they made at home.
I think that's very much our generation, though. It's like, this was the worst fucking service I've ever had. My food was wrong.
It's
the
our
waitress
generation
was
because so
awful.
many more of our friends or us have had to be servers that we're like very aware of the economic model.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like my parents and their friends are like, the food was 3 minutes late. I guess that's it.
I know. There's
10% tip there. I'm like, don't do that. What are you doing?
I was not a server for very long, but I was certainly long enough to be like, people are blaming me for shit that is not in my control. Like the chefs at the 2 places I worked at, you were scared to be like, hey, they were wondering, could you do? They were like, fuck you.
Oh my God.
And so the fact that you would take it out on your servers is insane.
It's
But tips should be gone. We all know, but they tried. They did a restaurant in New York where they took off the tip. They made everything more expensive. And people are idiots, and so they looked at the higher number, and they were like, "This store is
because
ridiculous."
they like the concept of having the choice.
Yeah.
When it's not a choice at the end of the day. But the concept of free will, like that's so American. It's like, you get to you are the master of your destiny.
But it's tough because some servers, I know servers that work more high-end restaurants, and they're like, please don't get rid of tips because they're killing it in tips.
Right.
And so like there's some jobs where you do want the tips because you're making more. And I think the problem is to really fix the system. There are some people at the higher end of the serving who are going to end up losing money.
Yeah. Which, it's like I when I went to Europe recently, it would offend me to see people just like leave coins. And I was like, how dare you leave coins for waiter? And I would be leaving like 15 to 20% tip. And then they're like, no, dude, they have a straight up salary here. Like this, you don't need to be leaving tips. But then I'm just going to say it. Service, awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. I'm sorry, Europe. But like your service sucks.
All of Europe.
All of Europe. Fuck you. Fuck all of you, Europe. And when I talked to my European
I checked the
friends,
downloads. We had 2 in Portugal, so this might upset them. But go ahead.
I'm sorry,
all of
Portugal.
Europe.
All of Europe, service not so great. But then you ask like my European, especially like the English and the Scottish, they're like, oh, I love the service. I love the service in America. And I'm like, yeah, because people are starving and they need.
And then you're like, but what did you tip? And they're like, nothing at all.
3
But I
pennies.
loved it. I loved it. I told them you're fantastic.
A high five, and it was wonderful. Yes.
This is we should do a commercial. I always wait too long, but let's do a quick commercial break. And we're back. No idea. By the way, I forgot. We have a new producer, and she's giving me notes, and I did not take a single one. Welcome to The Downside. This is an episode where we talk about all the negatives. And this is way too late to be describing the premise. Unless someone listening, like, I hope they tell us what's going on.
We get a little
very
context
soon.
We just got the thesis statement like in the middle of the essay.
We're so happy to have you. Just so you know, we have a Patreon. You should please check it out. It's patreon.com/downside. And $5 a month, you get ad-free episodes, bonus episodes. It's a lot of fun.
And when we get to 25 people, Gianmarco's going to shave his head.
Fuck off. No, that's not what I said at all.
I love that. I think that's
We're
great.
trying to come
Incentive.
up with...
We're trying to come up with an idea. We don't have one yet.
I think that's a great idea.
At 25, Russell's going to date his mom.
You?
Where would you take your mom on a date? Like, what would be...
my dad is still dating my mom, so I'm...
Your dad's like, son, please, I can't compete with a younger man. So Joanna Hausmann, thank you so much. I'm trying to think, was there anything else? God, I had all these notes and I disregard them completely because Russell was so fucking late.
Okay.
We talked about the good. All right, so thank you, Joanna.
How you're introducing me?
Thank you. Thank you.
Joanna.
You're
Also,
upset.
this is what it is. Share it, put it on your Insta story, review it on Apple. You have a podcast.
Oh, I do have a podcast.
But it's on Spotify. Spotify sends you checks.
Oh yeah, is that what makes it legit?
Yeah, no one sends me checks.
Oh.
I'm writing checks to other people right now.
Okay. Yeah,
But-
I get money, but very little.
Very little?
Yeah, I still
I think
don't
very
understand-
little for you is, we're different scales here.
$8 million.
Oh, well, that's fucking chump change. One thing I'm so, I had seen your posts, and you had quite a downside thing, and now I've heard you talk about it on other things, and you have to be you're uplifting. You are a positive voice. That's why I'm so excited. I want you to feel free to really don't inspire anyone.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking inspire anyone. You know how hard it is to be inspiring and have had cancer on your face? It was like every time I had to post and like tell people about it, I always had to be like, but you know what? I feel like this will make me a better person. And in my head, I'm like, fuck all of this.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to be positive, and like a lot of the people that follow me are used to me being like just positive, and there's like no positive.
Yeah.
I have like straight up not recommended. It's funny because like, so I go to the doctor all the way in July, and because I have like this weird bug bite on my face. It looks like a bug bite, and but
How big were we?
it was like half a inch or something.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know measurements,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was like
A penny?
like smaller than a penny.
Smaller than a penny. Okay.
Like a little
dime.
bug bite.
A little bug
There
bite.
we go. We can keep just naming currency.
You know those little candy dots that you eat the paper off of, like kind of like that size?
Like a TikTok. No, Tic Tac.
Like a
A TikTok.
Like a
TikTok dot.
TikTok.
Like a
Like
Tic
the
Tac.
concept of TikTok. No, like a Tic Tac.
Uh-huh.
And I go to the doctor, and the doctor, she's like, "Oh no, this isn't cancer." And I'm like, "Of course not."
So now let me ask you. So did you think cancer because you were a hypochondriac?
Yes.
Do you have a family history of?
Yeah, I have my grandma passed away from skin cancer, and I am the most anxious person you've ever met. I always think I'm about to die.
Now talk to me about like, I guess I always hear skin cancer. Every story I hear about skin cancer is like they found something, they had to remove it.
Yeah.
When you die from skin cancer, that means you just like didn't get something checked out for so long it went past the skin into.
Yeah, it goes to your muscle, your bone, it metastasizes everywhere.
Did you know your grandma?
Yes, I did.
You
Yeah,
did?
yeah.
And was it something she didn't get it checked out soon
It
enough?
was like in a weird part of her back. It was a melanoma on a weird part of her back that like was covered by bras and stuff, and she just like didn't notice it. And it was just a
Fucking
weird
A.
looking
Oh,
little
I hate
mole.
that. I hate that.
brown, like dark brown.
Yeah, but mine looked like a fucking bug bite, bro. Like, and I was in upstate in my parents' house during the pandemic, so I was like, I mean, it's probably a spider. I don't know. I'm not outdoorsy. I was like, this is probably some spider bite. And the doctor was like, you're fine. Like, go to sleep at night, like knowing you're gonna be good. And I'm like, thank you so much, doctor. And then I just like felt it. It wouldn't go away, but then it went away. And it just looked like a little sunspot. And then in like February, I was like, well, two things. One, I don't feel confident about this, even though the doctor said it was fine. And two, I want Botox. So 2 birds with 1 stone. 1, stop my aging, and 2, make sure I'm not dying. It all comes back to the same thing, aging, death. So I go and I'm like, hey girl, yeah, like just wanted to ask some questions about Botox. And like, I don't know, like, and I don't know if you're like this, but I'm always a little bit like embarrassed to question people.
Sure.
So I was like, oh my God, I know you said it was fine, but like, like, I don't know, like, can you, do you remember the little bug bite? It's just, and she's like, I mean, I can biopsy it, I guess. So she biopsies it. Turns out it is a carcinoma.
Yeah.
Carcinoma.
So the first doctor who said sleep well at night
Same
was
doctor?
this is the same doctor?
Yeah, I didn't
And you went back and you're like, I have not been sleeping well.
I have not been sleeping well.
It is tough to go to a doctor who said something is fine and be like,
Also,
no.
6 months later, being like,
yeah,
that's a half year.
And it's very small.
It just kind of looked like it almost looked like a sunspot. Like and you know, I grew up in Venezuela and I'm an Ashkenazi Jew, so I got sunspots everywhere. Like our people were not supposed to go there. We weren't supposed to be on the equator, and I was there for a long time.
Yeah,
so I have like a lot of weird.
A lot of
spots
people
on my
think
skin.
the Jews shouldn't have gone
Anywhere.
lots of places.
Yes, yeah, they should have
It's been
stayed.
kind of a historic part of our history.
It's a beautiful part of our history. Yeah. So then she tells me that it's a cancer, and I start crying, and she's like, "Why are you crying?" And I'm like, "I don't know, bitch. Why do you think I'm crying? Why am I crying?" And she's like, "This is like good cancer." And I was like,
"Oh my God.
This is toxic positivity. This is what we're talking about. Sleep well at night. This is the good cancer. Why are you crying? Nothing is bad here.
Literally. And she made me feel like crazy. And I was like, oh. And then in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And then on my walk home, I was like,
No.
wait, what? So I go in for the surgery, right? And she's like, she starts taking out pieces of my face. And
Are you awake?
I'm awake. I like hear and like smell everything. It's awful.
Smell.
Oh,
Yeah, it smells like burning.
oh my God.
Oh my
They
God.
burn
Oh my
your
God.
skin
They're
off.
burning.
Yeah, they cut and burn or something. And I'm just trying to make jokes like, ooh, is it barbecue time? And she's like, please stop.
Said, is it
Shut the fuck
barbecue
up.
time?
Yeah, I did say that. And the nurse laughed because she felt bad for me.
Sure.
But Mohs surgery, I don't know if you know about Mohs surgery. Mohs surgery is like they take a piece of your skin, they biopsy it, they take another piece, they biopsy it, they take another piece, they biopsy it. They did that 5 times with me. And I was numb, so I didn't know the size of what the tumor was. It was like 5 inches by 5 inches on my face. So it's straight up like my entire cheek was taken out and I like didn't notice. And then she's like, it's going to be tough to like tie this up. I don't know if I can do this. And it was like, I didn't know this, but I didn't have a cheek anymore.
Oh my
And it was like, after that, it was a nightmare.
So when you went into the surgery, because you do things on camera.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the good thing you invested in a podcast before all this went
There
down.
we go. I thought ahead.
But did you talk to her before? Like, what is this gonna look like?
Yes. I was like, so how big is it? And she's like, oh, it's probably like, I don't know, maybe an inch. She's like, she's like, it's not a big deal. We're like, so you write us.
Why did you keep going to this
gotta
doctor?
get this doctor. I mean, are you done with this doctor going
Oh,
forward?
I am so done with this
because
doctor.
you're like, this would have been so much smaller had you not.
This is like a
been,
doctor.
for a
They
half
see
year.
they see like the jar of jelly beans, and they're like, how many jelly beans are in there? 20.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, it's actually
It's
10,000.
5,000. I don't know, 20. I'm not gonna
I
like.
don't know. You know how you convince yourself, like, in my head, I'm like, this year has been so shitty. There's no way this will be this bad. Like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, this is all correlated. That's how odds work. You know, it's like the odds of something really bad happen. It was a really aggressive tumor that had, like, taken over a big part of my face. And thankfully, it hadn't gotten to the bone. So they didn't have to remove any bone, but they removed my cheek straight up.
So they didn't find out that it was 5. You said 5.
It was 5 inches. It was 5 inches by 4.5.
And you said the tumor was that. I'm just amazed that like you didn't feel like a tumor on your face.
So it's called a morpheoform. So it's a type of tumor that is like it's a little sneaky bitch.
Oh, I hate this.
It's a sneaky. I can see you're spiraling. I literally, you stopped looking at me, and you're like literally. I feel like you're you're going through your body in your head.
Yes.
Like that's
yes. I really am, because you're like, anytime you find out something that exists that you didn't know exists, and you start talking about a new tumor that you can't feel, and I'm just like, oh my God, how would I even start?
I love it.
And it's just like the rest of my day is just me being like on my couch, like feeling myself and looking and getting my wife to look at my back where my bra would be
It's
if
this
I was a woman.
invisible
Like,
thing you can't see, you can't feel. You feel good actually, and that's the first sign.
feel
this
powerful.
is why I try to be positive, because the moment I try to be, I'm just real. This happens.
Yes,
This
yes.
poor man, like. It's just
I'm so sorry. I'm going to be
So
present.
wait,
I
it's
really
called
did
it's called
go.
a what? What is it called again?
morpheaform.
Morpheaform.
So it's just like my doctor didn't explain to me that morpheaform meant like a ninja fucking tumor that just does shit under your skin without you being able to see it or notice it. So that's what I had, and
they find that out as they're removing what they think is just.
no, this woman knew but didn't inform me what morpheaform meant. Really, it's kind of my fault. Like I should have researched some of this. I just assumed she knew what she was
No,
doing.
you feel taken care of when you're.
I think
know,
yeah.
I mean, she wasn't very nice, but
but she had a confidence. It's like,
it's
don't
like
worry,
she had
girl.
diplomas on the wall. I don't know, And then
You look closer, and it's like middle school diplomas. It's not a full.
it's not a full diploma. It's like a participation award.
I have a doctor.
SoulCycle.
I used to have SAG insurance. I had these great doctors, and then it went away because I stopped working. And my new doctor, first bad sign, his diploma, the frame for it was like 3 times too big for the diploma, so it's just kind of. It was just kind of hanging in the corner there.
Like he bought it after.
He bought it. It just got the
Just
wrong
like
frame and
empty
decided like
space.
this is fine
Fine.
enough. And so it wasn't even in the center. It was just like in the bottom left
No.
corner. And I was like, this is
No.
this
no,
is. You saw, I shouldn't judge you. Maybe he's a genius, an eccentric genius, but he doesn't pay attention to details.
Which is something very important for a doctor, I
Yes.
feel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Detail, that's the only reason I didn't become a doctor. I'm kidding. I hate blood and I'm terrible at science. But other than that.
I think for a comedian, you're like an Einstein.
Oh my God, really?
Of course. You were
Jesus.
on Bill Nye Saves the World.
You keep saying that, but I got that because someone watched a YouTube video and was like, yeah, she works. Like, it wasn't like they did an IQ test. I'm not an Einstein, clearly, as you've found out through my cancer story, where I just didn't see the warning signs.
So you go in, you think it's going to be a small surgery.
Yeah, I was like ready to travel the next day back upstate, and then
And then you're there and you hear like crackling and noise, and
Yeah.
the doctor's like, come in here. They bring in a jackhammer, and you're like, what's going on?
And I keep on going back, and it's funny because at the beginning of the day it was me and all these other old people getting the same surgery, and by the end it's just me, and I'm like, this feels wrong. Shouldn't it be like the opposite? Shouldn't I
And all the old people like stop by and they're like, whoa, what's going on
everyone was
here?
like everyone had a tiny little bandage, and then I had like a huge bandage on my face, and I was like, I just could not understand what it meant. And she like covered it up, and she's like, okay, yeah, I can't help you. I'm gonna refer you to my friend who's a plastic surgeon, and he'll take care of you. And I'm like, okay, well,
So
when?
the tumor's not gone.
I'm not sure yet. She says the tumor's gone. I'm not sure yet. Like, I'm assuming it's gone. So I go to this. I wait 24 hours with this, and when I tell you it's open, I mean like you can see. I have pictures of it, and I'm not going to show
my God,
you.
we'll make it the episode.
Yeah,
picture.
it looks like a pepperoni. It's like there's no skin or fat. So it's like there was no volume. It was like my face was missing on that side. But I didn't see that because it was covered with bandages, right? So I go
But you like peeked at home.
So this is what happened. I had no idea how it looked like. I just went to bed. Like
you were being that disciplined. You weren't curious?
No. She was like, don't open it because that's like exposed muscle.
Yeah.
So like don't get it infected. And I'm like, okay, well, so like, do I just wait? And she's like, yeah, we didn't get you an appointment until the next tomorrow until 5 p.m. So for 24 hours, I didn't know how big it was. I just assumed it was.
Did she say at the end, you can sleep well tonight too with this fucking bandage now?
Well, she did tell me to take some sleeping pills.
Oh yeah.
Which I did because I was so anxious. And then I go to the fucking plastic surgeon the next day, and he's like, so I'm like, oh, are you going to take the bandage? First, I'm like, hey, oh my God, like, how are you? I'm Joanna. I'm like trying to make small talk because I love small talk. Yeah. And he just has this very stern, like sad look on his face.
Oh my God.
And he's like, you must be traumatized. And I'm like, oh, why? And he's like, because of the tumor. And I'm like, oh, yes. Anyway, so what's the deal with the surgery? So like, are you going to get like a little, and he was like, this surgery is really, really intense. I just want to warn you, we're going to cut open your chest up to your neck, and we're gonna take an enormous flap of skin from your chest, neck, and like ear area up to your face, and it's gonna take 6 weeks for you to be able to like remove the face bandages we're gonna put around you, and you're gonna look like Frankenstein.
Wait, what?
He was just
He
like,
said Frankenstein.
no, I'm exaggerating to make a point.
Oh my God.
And he's like, and you're going to have a tube and all the blood's going to come out of the tube. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck? And I'm like, are you going to see, like, are you going to check to see like what you're, and he's like, I don't need to see it again. I just saw a picture. I don't need to see it. And I'm like, and thankfully my mom is there and she's like, we're going to have to get a second opinion. And she looks at me like, get the fuck out of here. Like, let's get the fuck out of here. We leave and my mom is like, okay, I'm going to ask this guy for the picture because she receives a picture of my face. And you know, moms, like they want to be strong for you. And they're like, you know, so she tries not to react, but her face was, it was like an Aesop's fable told through a face. Like it was like a beginning, a middle, and a climax. And her face told a story.
So first she's like, wait, why did they send me a picture of pepperoni pizza? Oh my God. Oh my God. Only a face a mother could love. That's the phrase.
It really was.
And you didn't ask to see it at first.
Then
you just saw it on her face.
We didn't know how to resolve this problem. I had an open face, no surgery or doctor.
You just have this bandage and it's like, it's got to get changed soon.
I'm not sure if the cancer's even gone. I don't know what's happening. And then, you know, I was really lucky.
You went back to that same plastic surgeon?
Absolutely not.
You just didn't like the way that they handled
and you're
this.
like, he's friends with her.
I was just like, none of this feels good to me. No one ever said the word cancer to me or explained what I had. Like, I need to go to an actual cancer hospital. My God. Like, what the fuck? So, you know, we're so lucky that my dad went to Cornell and his roommate is some oncologist at Sloan that he hasn't talked to in like 50 years. But this poor man, like my dad just calls up this poor guy and is like, yo, dude, like, what's up? Remember Alpha Beta Chi? They weren't in a fraternity. But, and my dad was like, I need your help, man. Like, my daughter doesn't have a face and that's not going to work for me. So can you help me?
Oh my God.
And then I went to the cancer hospital the next day and it was like completely different. It was like people knew how to explain things to me and we made sure everything was out. And I, you know,
did they say that your first doctor did okay with what she did? Like,
so doctors are interesting because there's a lot of legal shit around everything, right? So they don't want to tell you what the fuck was this, but they also don't want to tell you this is okay. So my doctor was sort of like, so who performed this? Oh. Do you want another dermatologist? Like, and that told me everything.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
I told them the whole story and now I have a new dermatologist who, like is really serious. It's very funny because I love talking to doctors. I love talking to everyone. I love small talk, as I've said 4 times. But like, I love getting to know my doctors, and my new dermatologist asked me where I grew up. And I was like, he wants to get to know me. This is a relationship for life. And I'm like, I grew up in Caracas. And he's like, very high sun exposure. That explains a lot. And I was like, oh, so he didn't want to get to know me. But then, so I've had one like small surgery, one large surgery, and I have one more surgery scheduled in October. But it's been shitty, man.
What's this last surgery? So right now, and you know, when you came in, I didn't know if you'd have the bandage still, like some kind of bandage.
Yeah. And
then I didn't notice anything. Then, you know, then I saw it, but I was for a moment I thought like maybe there'd be a massive thing, and I was like, well, you know, I guess we won't do the video portion for this podcast.
Yeah, no, you were like, just so you know, there is a video portion, and everyone's asking me like, so you know, like we're gonna be recording, and I'm like, you know, it's actually looking pretty fine now.
It looks totally
it's
fine.
remarkable for the description. Is insane
because skin is so weird, dude. Like I had a ridiculous accident when I was 21. I broke both my elbows. I had an 8-hour surgery on my right elbow, and it took like a year and a half for me to be able to move like normally. Like grab something from the cabinet. And skin, those motherfuckers are so efficient. They're just like, let's like move. They're pushovers. Like you push skin somewhere and the skin will just, I don't know how it works. I know you think I'm Einstein. I don't know how skin works. But it's been like the change has been really like enormous in a very short period of time.
So what's the surgery that's left? The tumor is gone.
The tumor is fully gone, thank God. But I mean, I always have to be really vigilant because it could come back up and it could get to my, you know, jawbone and my ear and my what the fuck. You know, I just have to be basically I have a reason for my neurosis now. Like me thinking I'm going to die all the time is like justified. So that's like a good thing that's come out.
Well,
of
it's really hard. I think it's really, you know, I have certain I don't know if I'd call myself a hypochondriac because I don't see a doctor that often, but it's hard to tell if you're being like crazy.
Yeah.
Or like when you said you went back with the sunspot or whatever and the doctor already said it was fine, I could easily see me being like, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Like how much of it is me freaking out and how much of it is me being like, actually, let's just be safe. And it's like, I still don't know the answer to that.
And there's nothing worse. I was in an I shouldn't say that company because I got a settlement, but I was in a ride sharing accident, and my dad, who's a super hypochondriac, was like, "You may have had a concussion. Let's go to the hospital." And there's nothing that feels lamer than going to like an emergency where people are coming in and their baby, their arm fell off and real shit's going on, and the doctor sees you and goes like, "Yeah, you're fine." You're fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go try attach this baby's arm back.
Yeah.
Have a good night. You can sleep well, you dumb motherfucker.
Do you know what it's like to go into a fucking cancer clinic and like people are, in the worst moment of their life and I am in my worst moment, but comparative to them, it's like literally nothing and I'm here bitching. But at the same time, it's like, well, okay, but it's crazy because in this clinic where these doctors see people that have significantly worse situations, treated me like it was a valuable feeling I had. Como que that is justified versus these other guys that are like, they're just doing Botox all day. This woman was doing Botox all day and like lip fillers and then actually had a cancer and then made me feel dumb for feeling like sad that I had cancer.
So this next operation, this is the Botox that you're going to get?
I'm no longer, priorities. I was like, I'd rather age than die. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
So no more Botox. Now I'm just like, I have a piece of my thigh skin on my face right now. That's what you see is my thigh skin. I wanted my ass skin so bad just for the joke.
Yes.
A lot of material.
But fun fact, the skin on your ass doesn't really feel or look like the skin on your face. Fun fact, I didn't know that. So now I have my thigh skin on my face, and basically the next operation is just to pull my face skin and get rid of my thigh skin that's on my face.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah, because as you age, this skin would age differently, and we don't know what it would look like. So like the doctor's like, for you, a young, spry woman, it makes sense for the thing that's on your face to be like native to your face because we don't know.
Why didn't they stretch the face skin to begin with? Why can't they do it?
So this hole is like 25% of what it used to be. So like this so they already pulled my skin back a fuck ton. I basically got a little bit of a facelift.
Okay, there
but
you go.
on one side of my face.
On one side of your face.
Yeah.
So they pulled it kind of as much as they could then, but then for the second they're going to take whatever's remaining of the thigh skin and pull it a little bit more until it's all the way.
It's I have one face that'll look 23 and one face that'll look 30.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have a good side, you know.
And you're awake for this one too?
No, I wasn't awake for the last one, and I loved it.
They put you under fully.
Oh my god, it was so fun.
Was it your first time going under?
No, I had an 8-hour surgery for my arm before.
Right, and they put you under. Because I had to go under. I got a hernia from a deadlift CrossFit. I used to do CrossFit like 4 years ago.
Every piece of information I learn from you, it's such a bizarre like it feels like an episode of a sitcom. You got a hernia because of a deadlift, and then you got into an accident in a ride sharing app and got a settlement. There's just a lot.
I have an eclectic. It's kind of an eclectic existence.
I love it.
Like different community. Like I shouldn't be in a CrossFit. world.
I would
that's
never
wrong.
imagine you. No offense, but
no.
I just imagine you dance.
I know. Well, that's the thing. It'd be like CrossFit one day, hip hop the next day.
Oh.
But that was my first time. I'd had laughing gas before. That was great. I would do that in a heartbeat. Going under was very scary for me. I mean, it was just like, because you say, I had a friend, my friend Rob was there, and he doesn't get to bring you to the room. You're awake, you're not drugged out, you say goodbye to your loved one, and then they roll you in what truly is the scariest room. You're rolling like in the movies, and then you go in a room and there's a big light flashing on top of you, and the table was like mechanical, started moving over me, and I started sobbing, like going meeting my maker, kind of like I'm gonna die. And thank God there was a nurse there who she started rubbing my chest.
Oh, and that
like because
helped.
I was like a baby in the wild, just sobbing. And thank God she was there to do that. And then eventually the anesthesia just like that.
And you're dead.
I said I did like a classic, like, are you gonna tell me when it?
Yeah.
And now I wish they had just. I would ask them to give me a drug before, or just like I don't want to have the experience of being wheeled in that room alone, seeing 5 doctors scramble over my body.
It is.
Oh, I don't want to die.
I think that they should. I agree, because I had to walk into the operation room, and I just felt something you don't walk into. You know what I mean? I'm like, shouldn't I be in a bed? Like, why am I walking? My ass is out. Like, and people are like, oh, hi. You know, it's almost like I went into a conference room and people are still they're still like finishing up conversation on the last meeting, so they're like, sorry, hi, sorry, no, you can come in. And I'm like,
we got to clean off the table still. You get a person scraping the crumbs.
But the way that I deal with really high level stress and anxiety is like I just make jokes, and I just started joking, and they were joking with me, so it like literally calmed me down. And I wish I remembered what I said, because it was the best material I've ever come up with.
You're just killing with them.
It was so funny. I mean, I think they were just like, let's leave her calm. Like, we don't want to not laugh and have her cry. So, but I woke up and it was like COVID time, and I couldn't have anyone in the room. And I sent a bunch of videos to people that I didn't remember until weeks later, including someone I work with. And I responded to an email in video form, and then he was like, you can't do that. You sent it to everyone in the team.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What was the video?
Okay, so I don't know how to explain this without telling you the story. So that, okay, so the team, the PR team and the marketing team and my producer and me were in a group chat, and they produce other They produce other things.
Yep.
Other things.
And one of the hosts of these other things there was like a open voting for, like, most beautiful man of whatever, People Magazine's most beautiful men, and voting was open. So the marketing team was like, hey, everyone go and vote for this guy to win most beautiful People Magazine's most beautiful man. And I responded in video like, I'm very confused by this because this man's not beautiful.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, and I just woke up from surgery, and this is a very complex thing to be confronted with right now, because he's not beautiful or nice. So I'm not going to be voting. I have it on my phone.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And I'm like drugged out of my mind, and my producer like texts me separately, and he's like, hey, do you know that you, like, how was the surgery, first of all? And I was like, yeah, man, what's up? And he was like, you sent it to the team. Everyone thinks it's funny, but also, like, don't do that.
Oh my God.
And it was, yeah.
Can we add the audio of that?
So funny.
Well, if you send it to me, I'll add it to the episode.
Oh my God, I will 100% send it to you.
That's fantastic.
I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to have visitors, so I'm just on my phone. But, like, that's so confusing, because, like, he's, like, not beautiful at all. And also, he's, like, not that nice. Like, what? How low is the bar? I'm gonna regret sending this, but YOLO, I'm not allowed to have guests in here, so I'm hanging out with my bitches.
So funny. You're also like, in theory, hopefully I'm not coming out of a surgery again and responding to every message I get like
every
this.
Message.
It is an isolated incident.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I would tell people, don't give me my phone in that state. I always get nervous about, when I was nervous, like my sister was going to pick me up, and I was like, listen, do not, no funny games here.
No funny games.
I get that my whole relationship, I've never taken anything seriously, and I don't respect anything, but not this. I was just scared.
You were scared. It was your first time, so it was like,
But those videos make me laugh so hard.
They're incredible because it's
some
almost
15-year-old. There's one where the 15-year-old. I mean, that's not appropriate, but the 15-year-old kid was like, "Show me your titty,"
Yeah.
and their parent is like, "Josh, stop it."
Have you seen the one where he's like, yo, I got lit in Dubai? And it's like this 9-year-old redheaded child. And he's like, yo, my wife's so hot. She's a stripper. Let's get fucked up in Dubai. And the mom is like, oh my God, Jason, stop. Like, they're incredible. Well, for me, as an extrovert, I just felt the need to connect with people, and I couldn't because like no one could be in the room with me. So I just thought that this was the best way.
Yeah.
Now, during all this, because you talk about having a sense of humor with things, was there one point that was like the biggest cry? Was there like the biggest like holy shit?
Yeah. So it was before my surgery and shit. And I was like purposely not wanting to look at the hole in my face because I was like, I'd rather not know and like see it later. And my fucking mom, I don't know why she thought this was like a good idea. She's like, it's crazy what's happening to you. And then she takes the picture and she goes, like, how crazy is this picture? And shows me the hole. And I'm like, what the fuck, Mom? This entire time it's on my face. I've been avoiding it. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, you're sorry?
Yeah.
And I just bawled, like crying. But then I also, now it's the funniest thing because it's like so many wrong decisions, like one right after another. For her. Why was it on? Why did she save it? What was like? Why was she looking at it? Like, it was. I think that was the biggest cry because then I was just like, am I ever gonna look the same? Like, is my face gone forever?
And then in that moment, you briefly have a target where like your mom is fucked up now and you can be like, why would you do that? Because when something bad happens, sometimes you're like, I have no one to blame. What do I do?
Oh my God.
But then in one moment you're like, Mom, you made it worse. Now I can express this to someone.
Can I just say what you just said is brilliant and this is like therapy to me and now I'm going to bring it to my therapist because you were right because it felt like I let go and was so angry at her because like who else am I going to be angry at? The fucking sun that got me the kid. I'm not going to yell at the sun. Like, so there I was like, yeah, you dumb fucked up. Yeah. And I could yell at you now. And I did. And I cried. And it was wonderful. And it felt really good. And then I was like, I'm sorry, Mom. And she was like, I'm sorry, too. And I'm like, God damn it. I don't have anyone to be angry at. Well, I could be angry at the doctor.
Yeah, but you didn't have a chance to yell at that doctor either. Or really, could, like, you dealt with it. And
did that doctor check in on you? Hey.
Never. I called her to get the slides of my cancer, right? Because like the doctor was like, we need to make sure the tumor is completely out. Like this is a big ass tumor. We got to make sure this is out. So I was like, hey doctor, can I get the slides of my cancer? And she was like, no, those are mine. And I'm like, it was on.
Those are mine.
I would.
Are you fucking
And I'm
kidding?
trying to breathe my way through this. And I was like, hey doctor, what do you mean by that, doctor? And she's like, don't you know how this works? And I'm like, no, I said, of course I don't know. I'm a fucking comedian. What do you mean? I assume that if I have a tumor on my fucking face, I own it, motherfucker.
And she's like, you were on Bill Nye Saves the World.
You should know this. She's like, for my, what is it called for doctors to like legally practice?
Oh.
I was going to say indoctrination, but it's definitely not that.
Whatever.
Accreditation.
Accreditation.
She's like, for my accreditation, like, I need those slides. And she was yelling at me. And I lost my shit for a second. And I looked at my husband and my husband was like, I got this. And he took it and he was just like really calm and subtle. Cause he never yells. He hangs up the phone and he was just like, that woman is a fucking bitch. Like, but I couldn't, and I dream of this moment. I have this dream of me waiting outside of her office.
Yeah.
After all this is done. Because she told me that it was a huge mistake for me to go to Sloan and that they were going to ruin my face and that like, she was like honestly awful.
She's awful.
There's nothing redeeming about her except her hair is incredible. I have this dream of just like standing outside of her office, just waiting for her to come out and then being like, kind of like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. And then being like, hi, do you remember me? And then she's going to be like, no. And then I'm going to be like, I'm going to fucking sue you, bitch. And then I go like this. Doesn't my face look good now? And then I walk away. And I just dream of that moment. I also dream of like smacking her in the face, but I'm not a confrontational person, so I probably wouldn't do that. But I do dream. I think
you should do something. Doesn't my face look good? Don't lead with an open question if you're gonna really slam it. Because if you go doesn't my face look good now? Because she could just go like, no, and then you're stuck.
Yeah, workshop
You've
this.
ruined.
What should I say?
What would be the ultimate
I like the threat of a lawsuit because then you don't have to do follow through. But I like in the back of her mind, like being like, if every once in a while you pop up and say like, and I found others too. Like the next year you pop up and you're like,
I found
others too. Class action, bitch. And then like you just like keep like stringing it out. So she's always in the back of her mind, like, is there going to be a lawsuit?
And I found others. That's brilliant.
That's for the second time. That's the second time.
Unlike Gianmarco, I'm really good at taking notes.
I would say something like, they need a little asking for my face. We should get it from your face because you're a butt face.
Wow,
let's keep workshopping. Let's
almost there.
keep workshopping.
You're so close, but yet not there.
I think you totally though. Like, you should.
Yeah.
You are you gonna sue? And you probably can't say. You're allowed to. You can't say that.
I don't know. Maybe
I hope you do sue. That's
this. It's so upsetting because anytime there's like a doctor story like this, it's like there's so many opportunities where they could have turned things around. And been like a better person and not made you scared and blah 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 and all. And the doubling down of being shitty is so wild when you're in a position like that.
Yeah.
And you just hear it and you're like, this, I don't understand. I understand people fuck up. I understand people don't always have the best bedside manner, blah 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 blah. But like when you've had that many opportunities and then you're asking for your like the X-ray or whatever it is of your face, and they're doubling down. Then
I'm sure it's
crazy.
something legal. I mean, it must be something like, oh, they're going to show that sued, and they're going to use this.
Yeah,
and,
that's what she thought.
You know, but
you're like, I need it medically right now to fix your fuckery.
I have a hole in my face because of you, and I need it. Please help me. You know, it's crazy because I was talking to a lawyer, and I was like, he was like, oh, did he follow up? Just a lawyer friend, just to see if I have grounds for anything. And he was like, you know what's crazy? And I was like, tell me. And he goes, most of the people that sue because they feel the doctor was just mean or rude or like didn't follow up or didn't care. But sometimes doctors fuck up big time, but they apologize and they're present and they call, and those people don't sue.
Yes.
There's like,
yes.
If you want to be a doctor that gets sued, fuck up, but then be a dick. But if you can fuck up bigger and be kind, and there's a lesser probability of you getting sued. And it's crazy. It's like,
you just want accountability. You want them to be like, recognize that, yeah, this was a thing, and and treat you like they should.
I had no idea that malpractice insurance existed. Like, doctors are like, just in case someone says that I did my job wrong, I'm going to pay insurance every month. I don't know. I think it's crazy that this whole industry exists.
They don't. Again, this is back to they don't teach this in school.
They don't.
And you're
teach
like
us.
dealing with doctors, and that could be a
the
whole
other thing too
class.
Is the doctors class. They need more. I know doctors go for a long time, but they need some classes in communication and talking to people.
You know who's really good?
You
know who's really good dealing with their patients?
Oh my God! It all comes back to the.
I just like saying his name as many times because you have to go through this episode and find every single time to mute to blurp him out.
All right, let's go to this has got to stop. We might have to just do hers for this has got to stop. But we're recording a Patreon episode after this. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/downside. I think we got the right buttons. Someone told me I mess up the buttons sometimes, and someone's like, it's not funny. It's not cute. It's not anything. And it was my girlfriend, Tova. Nope. God damn it. I went into that with such confidence. I reached and I sat back. I was like, this is right.
This has got to stop.
This has got to stop. You seems like you read the email and you came with something. You're right? You have a this has got to stop.
I don't.
Okay, I was incorrect.
I just poured my heart out about my face cancer. I had to prepare more. What did I have to prepare? I remember this email now.
This has got to stop. It's like something in the world. It could be very personal. I mean, we frankly went through 10 things now. Like this has got to stop. Doctors not giving you X-rays immediately.
Yes,
but something. Yeah,
I did come prepared. I definitely did my homework. So now that things are opening up and people are going to restaurants, I'm of the opinion that live music in restaurants that you did not pick, need to stop. Like sometimes I'll sit in a restaurant and it's perfect, and then suddenly a band starts setting up, and I'm like, I did not agree to this, and I'm like, I'm only halfway through my appetizer, and I have to fucking sit through this shit. It's got to stop.
Yeah.
Oh, either have a sign or let me leave.
I agree. I think the music thing sometimes too. I remember a couple years ago, my wife and I were at this place that was a Mexican sushi fusion place.
Oh no,
which sounds crazy. And it's not great. But we were there, and it was like not a time of night where there needs to be a DJ.
Yeah,
you know, it was it was like 6:30 to 7 p.m. and a DJ started setting up, and I was like, wait. Why is there a DJ in this Mexican sushi fusion place at 6:30 p.m.? And then it was like 15 minutes later, we were at dinner and we were like screaming at each other. And it's like one of those things where you're like, there's no one who needs this right now. You need 4 hours from now, this DJ can set up. But
now?
At 6:30 p.m. at a Mexican sushi fusion, it just was insane. It's that thing where you're like, we needed a sign when we came in the door being like, by the way, a DJ is going to start at 6:30 p.m.
Something.
Like,
this is the owner's cousin, and he's working this
live
out.
Music is going to start because you're like, yeah, there's just so many restaurants in New York City. We wouldn't commit to going somewhere if you knew that.
And also like
if you're not in the vibe for it.
We're all performers, right? And there's nothing that gives me more anxiety than seeing someone perform and no one look at them or like or like clap or be supportive. So like I end up being like the only person clapping and like feeling awful.
You feel the obligation, yes.
Like it's just like, please, I don't want it, but like I want to pretend like, and I like nod along and like make eye contact, like great job there, or you know what I mean? It's just it's the worst situation to be in, and I don't want to be in it again.
I agree. No more music. I think comedy shows are okay.
Surprise
ambush comedy shows, we call them. You know, because those are really, talk about, I mean, you think it's bad when you don't acknowledge the music.
Yeah.
When you do comedy shows and you really feel like you were booked on a show and you are just, you know, you go up there and you're like aggressively doing crowd work and being like, oh, is that your son? Are you fucking him? Like, yeah, you're just really trying to like start a conversation. It can get angry fast.
Yeah.
And
well, you're just like, you're yelling for attention when people don't want to give it to you, and it's just it's exhausting. I've only done that a few times, and I was like, I don't think I can do. I can't pay for enough therapy to be able to do this.
You wait, with UCB closed, there's going to character work.
Oh God.
Sketch comedy characters at dinner.
Oh my God! Oh my, that's
that
worse
was
than the
worst
sushi
thing
fusion.
I've ever heard in my life.
That is awful.
Oh God!
Full heralds. Full heralds.
Full heralds as you're like dipping your guac.
For the appetizers, that's the first round, second, and then callback for dessert.
I do fear for our future.
I do think there's a lot of comedians without a home right now.
Right.
And we're gonna see improv everywhere is gonna be like the new model.
Literally everywhere.
Have you ever done one of those improv everywhere?
I have not. I've heard of it, and I've seen the Subway. I heard the This American Life about it.
Yeah. It's like fun, and then it's like no. Especially in New York. New York, I just think New Yorkers are like, absolutely not.
Also, I feel like a lot of New Yorkers are like, I'm busy trying to get to my 4th job. Can you stop trying to make joy happen?
Forcing joy on people. All right, now I definitely know this. This is one I am very excited for this. This is You better count your blessing.
Your blessing.
So this is where we say something thankful. I'll go first so you get an example because I really wanted to talk about this. My girlfriend Tova, she has night terrors.
Really?
Yeah, she was mugged like I think 2 years ago now or something like that, and then had night terrors ever since. They can be really intense. She has an app that basically it starts recording audio whenever noise starts, and so in the morning we like review what the night terrors are. And by the way, someone asked me. She's totally down for me sharing these. Like okay. I don't. She likes it in her own fucked up, twisted way. That's why we're together.
That's so great.
But like to give an example, this is one I don't think I've played on this one. So she was at my place. She wore an eye mask, just because I was staying up and reading or something. And she doesn't normally wear an eye mask. So this is like an example of what a bad night is.
What? Where are my eyes? My eyes.
Where are my eyes?
Where are my glasses?
Hey, honey. So this is 4 a.m. You want one more time? Just the voice, just the changes, and she doesn't make that.
What? Where are my eyes? My eyes. Where are my glasses?
Hey, honey.
She got possessed.
She got possessed. So and I wake up and she goes back to sleep after them because she's in a sleep state. I wake up and I'm like, what happened? I need to call a priest. And that was like a bad night. So she's been figuring out things, I think it's something she didn't fully deal with before. And I was like, sweetheart, it'd mean a lot to me if we start, dealing with this. And part of it, I thought, was like phone. There's a lot of phone usage. She works she's a comedy manager. So phones, a lot of anxiety. Yeah. This is an important thing. So she's been really good about putting the phone away like an hour before sleep. And we had a night, the other night, this is my blessing. We had a night where this was the only one. Normally there's 20 of those, 15, 10, 20. And this was one night, this was it.
Are you okay? Yeah. What's wrong?
Oh, I thought you fell off the side of the bed, babe. Okay.
Oh.
You're okay. Sorry about that.
And that was it. And that was it. And we woke up, and that was the only one. And like it is much different than it was, compared to not have a.
Oh my God!
But okay, so one of the things so it's very good. I'm very thankful.
Yeah, it's
things
great.
seem to be getting better. But I got an Alexa, and I really only use it to set my alarm. But she decided, I'll get an Alexa too. That way she can like set alarms and put her phone away. So like the new like thing where put the phones away. But this is from last night. She was just alone. I wasn't there. So this is
No. No one should give you anything in here. I said that last night to you guys. And you confirmed last night. Alexa, we confirmed last night that...
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Alexa, why?
Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean.
Alexa, why didn't you do the curtains like I asked?
I'm not sure.
Are you kidding?
Oh, that is... Oh, man. That is my blessing. These are so funny.
That's the best blessing I've ever had.
That is...
But it's so
wow.
funny because
full conversation with Alexa.
She gets these Alexa, like whatever part of her brain is activated, like is aware enough to know, and Alexa is now in the room.
Yeah.
Alexa, why did you do the curtain?
Why didn't you fix the curtains? That is so
that
good.
is
Thank
very
you,
similar
Tova.
to like
Wow.
videos of people right after surgery. It's very similar.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
And I
altered
think
state of
that
mind.
first part of we confirmed, this episode's going to come out after this, but we were going to, I said we should watch Elon Musk on SNL. It's going to be a disaster. And then I fucked up. I got a comedy show. I didn't tell her in advance. So I think like it was partly me, her saying we confirmed.
Definitely you.
Definitely me. It was Douglas's fault because I was waiting for Douglas to confirm that we were going to go to his house for SNL. No one confirmed anything.
Oh, I forgot about
got
that.
You see, exactly. Never rely on men for plants.
Never.
No.
Never.
I'm sorry.
Never.
But no, it was my fault, and so the night terrors are back. So the blessing is revoked.
Wow.
Do you have a blessing?
Yeah, I have this doorman who I love that both of your guys' heads, like a dog listening to a weird sound. It was like you guys twisted at the same time. So I have this doorman. He's from Eastern Europe somewhere. He drinks vodka out of a water bottle every night. Like that, this guy scares the living shit out of me. But every day that I see him, he makes my day.
Oh.
Because one day, I don't know how this happened. My husband like doesn't leave. He's an investment banker. He doesn't leave the house. He works like 20 million hours a day. So the doormen are always like, "Oh my God, what happened to your husband?" So this guy is like, "What happened to your husband? Did he die?" And then I don't know. I think I was like really tired or drunk. I don't know. I was like, "Yeah, I killed him and put him in the freezer." And anyone else would have been like, "That's so fucking weird." But he was like, "Yeah, you did. You put him in the freezer. You cut him up into tiny pieces. You put him in the..." And now every time I see him, I can't wait because I walk in the building and he goes, "Hey, husband in the freezer, tiny pieces. You cut him up and you put him in the freezer." Huh? And I was like, "Yeah, man." And I don't know. That's just a little bit of absurdity
Yeah,
that's a
brightens up my day.
beautiful.
It makes me happy because I'm like, what a weird, like any person listens to, any third person listens to this and is like, what the actual fuck is happening?
Yeah.
But for us, it's this moment of pure connection and camaraderie.
There are relationships out there that are defined by like one joke or one thing you share. Like if you saw him, if you were traveling in Russia and you saw him in Russia, you'd be like, the husband there he is, new husband, other husband in pieces. And that would be the end. Then you'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's it. And then that's the whole relationship.
What do you leave a tip in Christmas time?
Yes, I do.
What kind of tip are we talking? Or do you just give him vodka? Be like, hey, you like it in the water bottle? Here's it in.
I like getting a big crate of wine for them to just like.
Oh.
And then like a little tip to like cash tip to my favorites. But he hasn't really been it because I didn't really like him until this joke came up. Like up until the joke came up, we had nothing in common. You could tell he's a sexist. You know, you could tell this guy's a sexist. Like he sees me walking in late, and he's like, "You're a prostitute," and I'm like, "No, I'm a comedian." He's like, "Oh my god,
thing.
Yeah. But now with this joke, it's like we've, all the cultural and gender and generational differences, they dissipate into a joke about me murdering my husband and putting him in a freezer.
Great.
That is comedy.
Yeah.
I think you need to take the joke for like give him a piece of your husband for Christmas.
Oh my god, like a little
like a takeout
chicken,
box.
but say that it's
Yeah. But like a nice steak maybe, and then it's like this is the husband.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's brilliant. You're so good at gifts, aren't you?
When I'm telling other people to pay for them, yeah.
Oh, that's so
Very
good.
creative.
That is a great idea. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get like a nice steak for him, and he'll probably eat it frozen.
Sure.
With his vodka.
So, well, this has been such a lovely episode. Is there anything you want to plug?
Every time I hate the word plug so bad because I just think of butt plug immediately.
Sure.
And I want to move on from this immediately. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, I want to plug my podcast, Hyphenated. It's me and Jenny Lorenzo, and we talk about like culture and identity and funny shit. And we don't talk about incest like in this podcast, but it's still fun.
Good.
It's still fun.
Check that out. Russell, anything coming up?
Same old. We have a show May 21st, Friday, May 21st.
Well, based on your enthusiasm, it's surely going to be good. We're going to be at the Asylum.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
The old UCB.
I want to go.
Please do.
Please come.
I would love that. There's going to be no food,
How much longer are you in New York?
I'm going to be here, I think, for a good amount of time. My job is in LA, but I do it all through Zoom.
We'd love to have you as a guest sometime.
Oh, my God. Fucking.
You'd be a fantastic guest.
I would absolutely love it so much.
Okay, well, it's pretty booked up for the next couple shows. I'm gonna be headlining the City Steam. It's a bar, but we call it a comedy club. City Steam Comedy Club on May 22nd with Michael Cruz Kane featuring for me. I'm going to be headlining Spokane Comedy Club end of June. See my movie Here Today. Billy Crystal, Tiffany Haddish, Matthew Broussard, our first guest on The Downside, and me doing a Jeff Goldblum impression. If anyone knows Jeff Goldblum, please tell him about me so I can play his son in something I think we'd get along.
Oh, my God.
And, we should remember that whether cancer, whether, automobile accident, being murdered by your wife, ultimately we will all die.
1, 2, 3.